it's even not about releasing. It's about giving recognition, and that's it. And the work will happen. Magic.
Welcome to this new episode, and today I am here with Ravit. How are you, Ravit?
Good, very good, thank you.
Very nice. I'm very good indeed. And today is about family constellation, which is a really fascinating type of therapy.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. It's one of the most fascinating and one of the most challenging to run as well, in my opinion. But before we get into family constellation, I'd like to learn a little bit more about you. So what is your story in life?
I was born 49 years ago in Israel. I was living my life, always like to travel. I was flight attendant for a few years. I was going around a lot. I was a fashion designer for 10 years. I had a studio and shops. And when I had my third daughter, I have 3 kids. After I had my third daughter, I understood that this is not my path. I need to change something. And what I wanted to do is to support women after birth. And I didn't really know where to start. I just wanted to help because when I was a fashion designer, one of the things was that many women came to me and I heard their stories about birth, about children, about life, and I just wanted to be there for them. So I went to study how to be a birth doula. And I said, okay, this is the door to go inside. And very fast I became a birth doula, a very happy and good birth doula. But few years into the work, something was missing. I felt that I need to have more tools. And during this time, I also had a crisis in my life for myself. And I started going to workshops, you know, all those things that we were doing. And one day, it was Wednesday, I went to a Family Constellation workshop. Boom! It was like a magic. It changed my life, it changed my perception. It gave me a powerful tool for myself and also to work with other women. In this 3 hours workshop, I understood so much things about myself, about life, about a lot of things. And I was very lucky because a few weeks after I took my first training. Since then, I'm studying all the time. I'm also facilitating sessions. As you know, Luca came to a session. And I'm also a trainer for new family constellation facilitators. And yes, it became, I'm in Koh Phangan for 5 years now, facilitating, offering workshops, doing whatever I can just to spread this magic around and to let other people know that it's there and it's possible and it's easy and yeah.
And magic it is indeed a little bit because the way I experienced family constellation with you was in a group setting. So there was one person that was sort of the focus of the constellation, and then there were about 5 or 6 people, maybe 7, 5 or 6 people around in a circle, and different people were embodying a different family member of the person we were focusing on. And it's very interesting because you get into some sort of state which is almost an altered state of consciousness where you are in this group setting, you are acting out, some sort of family, I wouldn't say drama, but family sort of
patterns.
And that's extremely, you know, there are revelations coming. Even myself, only as a participant, I had a bit of a revelation when I was doing it, you know, like a month ago. And it's really fascinating because you mix psychology with, you know, like a group session, almost theater in a way. And there's some spiritual element to it as well. I can really feel it. But can you describe what is Family Constellation?
It's all about love. It's about intergenerational transfer. It's about opening, releasing, healing all the patterns, all the habits, all the weight that we're carrying on our shoulders, on our back for our family members, consciously and unconsciously. Sometimes we can carry things that we're not even aware that we're carrying. And family constellation with the use of representatives or just representation. You can also do it one-on-one, that you just connect by yourself to all the energies. So family constellation, we're open it, we go to the core of the issue that you came with. It can be a relationship, it can be a pain, it can be a question, it can be whatever. We're going to the core, understanding what you're carrying and who is the person that you're carrying it for, him or her. It can be someone that you know, like a grandparent, a father, a mother, or you from childhood. Or it can also be the sister of your great-grandmother that you never met and never heard about. In family constellation, it's about union. It's about bringing everyone and everything that belongs, giving it recognition, and then just, you know, releasing whatever doesn't belong to us, giving back to whoever belongs.
And it's so important indeed, because so much of what we are from a psychological, emotional perspective is coming from our parents, grandparents, and family patterns, etc. Right? Like as a child, like 0 to 6 years old, you're like a sponge, really sucking in all the environment. And of course, your primary caregivers are so important, and all the traumas and all the patterns, you know, start in childhood as well. And
yeah, but we also understand that it's not only what happened to us. It's also if your great-grandfather was at war and he was the only one that survives from his family, maybe now when you're dealing with guilt, this is not your guilt. This is the guilt of your great-grandfather that felt guilty that he's the one that survived.
You see also, I think, in literature or in research, there are patterns, you know, around alcoholism, for instance, or different kind of problems that people have that really come from generational issues there. So like the grandparents had a problem with it, the parents had a problem with it, and now you have a problem with it. And trying to make sense of what's the trauma underneath or what's happening there.
Yeah, we will try to understand what is this alcoholism, what is the alcohol, what does it cover, what is the thing that is missing. Maybe it's a mother that died when her child was very young. Maybe it's love, because, you know, sometimes, imagine love that like a big pipe of love, but sometimes when it's stuck because there is something there, a trauma, you need to open it, to clean the trauma, and then the love can flow. So this is what we do. We're going back to the trauma and just finding what needs to be healed there. We're doing the healing and the healing flow. I don't know how. This is the magic.
Indeed.
This is the magic. Yeah, and I'm there only to facilitate, to allow whatever needs to come, to allow the stories, the secret, whatever needs to reveal. And to hold this safe space, because family constellation is very, very safe. It only brings what we're ready to see and what we're ready to, you know, face. I sit with people that are coming like twice a year for the past few years, and every time it's going deeper and deeper because they're more ready to see those things and really to give them recognition and to let them go. It's even not about releasing, it's about giving recognition, and that's it. And the work will happen. Magic.
Ravit, can you tell us a little bit about the origin of this wonderful and rather, multifaceted, form of therapy, and also how you learned sort of the tradition and the structure of it, and then made it yours? Because I think different facilitators have a slightly different way of actually putting it into practice. Is that right?
Yeah, it's right. So Family Constellation started with the founder, Bert Hellinger. Bert Hellinger was a priest, a German priest that was sent by the church to South Africa. And then he started to work with the Zulu because, the church wanted to make everyone Christians. So he was there for many, many years, 16 years. He started learning their language, and he became a part of their community. They also invite him to ceremonies, to rituals, and he really got to understand more the connection that they have with the ancestors, with the people that are already in the other side, the respect for the elderlies, and one day he was asked, what is more important for you, the ideas or the people? And that was the minute that he decided that he cares about the people, and he left the church, came back to Germany, studied more things, and then he started to practice family constellation. It was positioning in the beginning. He was just positioning family members, representation of family members, because he was also a student of Virginia Satir, which started to look at all this family therapy and family healing as something that is more whole, that is something that is not only on the person, but the whole system. So he was using people, and that's where it started. I studied in the Constellations Path School. Okay. We're a bunch of trainers in Portugal, in Israel, in Los Angeles, in Copenhagen. And and we teach and we practice, and we offer this certification of after 4 modules, your certificate to practice. And
that's lovely indeed. And of course, that's the root where this therapy comes from. And then I think a lot of what you're doing as well is being present in the moment and really going with the flow, right? Because it's impossible to really forecast or see what's going to happen in the constellation itself. So you have to be super embodied and super intuitive and let things flow. That's really the challenge for the facilitators. Huh?
So I think that, as you said, each one of the facilitators bring himself to the session. And after many years as a doula, a birth doula, and a mother, I'm very intuitive, and also I trust. So it's only about trusting the process and allowing whatever needs to come. Of course that I have to make decisions during the session, but somehow it's very natural for me. I think that when I have the trust, I just, trust. And that's it, and it happens.
And there's nothing is right or wrong, right? Whatever happens, and it happens in the moment. And you see the emotions, like it's quite an emotional I'll say, experience as well, not just for the person that is at the center of the constellation, so to speak, but also for everybody involved. And it's very important after to ground everybody. You're there like with everybody, making sure that everybody's okay. And during the session, you can leave at your will. You can go to the toilet, you can sit down, you can leave the constellation for a little while if you need to, and then go back in. It's really fascinating the way everything unfolds. And you said like it's 3 hours, yeah, or 2 or 3 hours?
No, it's 2 hours, but the session is 1.5 hours. Okay. There is like 15 minutes that we open the circle and 15 minutes that we close the circle. Yeah. It's very, I'm trying to hold this space as safe as I can.
Sure.
And yeah.
And it's really, really powerful indeed, you know. I tried, my first one was in India like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was focusing on my mother particularly, and all sorts of things came through. And then also personally, I done a lot of work with my father up until I did a session called Rebirthing, which is a type of breath work, very powerful as well.
Very powerful.
And I saw my father in many, many different ways. And then the teaching there was to try to fall in love, not with the older version of my father, which I had some issues with it, but more with the younger version, when he was like a strong, enthusiastic 20 years old. So I asked my mom to send me photos of him when he was 20. And that's how I was able to, improve the relationship with him. But I think if you improve the relationship with your parents and your family members in general, there's so many benefits in life. It's unbelievable because they are kind of part of you. So it's like you're living a part of yourself.
I think that part of what Family Constellation allowed us is to understand a bit more humanity, to understand a bit more our parents, our grandparents, and all our ancestors that came before, and to see that they didn't came from a vacuum. There was something there. This great grandparents, he wasn't a bad man. He was just abandoned by his mother, and he was like a child even when he was 50 and 60. And also we say in Family Constellation that when you accept your parents, you accept life, because your parents are the only ones that could give you life, even if they were not very good, supporting parents. They are the only ones that could give you your life. And this is something very, very important for me with my relationship with my parents, that I did all my work with them and still doing, and they're already on the other side. But to understand that the only thing that your parents could give you is life. If they're giving more, I'm very happy, but the only thing that only your parents could give you is your life. And for me, it was a very deep understanding that they have their wounds, and they came from their parents, but they really gave me my life, which is such a big gift.
Yeah, and also I think everybody's trying to do their best in life, and I also like to see things in a more compassionate way, and rather than blaming others and blaming circumstances. I mean, I've been given a set of sort of cards to play in this human existence, whatever that means. And some cards, I perceive them as being better than others, but they are all, that's what I got. And I have to go through life and make the most of it. And I don't have children now, but I hope I will have maybe later. I'm still very young. And I think, also having, giving birth as a woman, but also as a man, being the father of children, it must be such an experience, such a responsibility. At the same time, and the best thing I can do possibly is to understand the relationship with my ancestors, heal as much as I can, so that possibly I'll be in a better position than to also encourage, new life into this world. What do you think?
In the minute that we understand that we will also make mistakes with our kids, but we need to do the best we can. So I'm doing a lot of mistakes, but I'm not doing the same mistakes as my mother, not as her mother. And you know, we're getting better. And also, as much as we heal ourselves, we put less pressure, less heaviness, less trauma on our kids. And yeah, this is the best we can do, not only for children, also for, you know, this humanity and whatever is happening around us. And
indeed, yeah, for sure. I mean, if we heal as individuals, we become more aware, then also our family improves in that sense. So there is a little bit more harmony, a little bit more flow in life. That's also going to have an effect on our communities, our workspaces, and then, you know, potentially the humanity as a whole. And that's it's a very idealistic view.
Okay, but this is where we're going, right?
And starting from the individual is really the only thing we can do, because, you know, it's all very good to have an activist stance or certain ideals, which is very beautiful indeed. But I think the most transformative thing for ourselves and the world is really to heal.
Yeah.
And, you know, Family Constellation is a wonderful experience to do that. And I like to go more deep into it, and maybe when I'm feeling ready.
Yeah, you need to be ready. This is why when people are contact me, I'm not pushing them. I'm always waiting for them to come, because I think that this therapy has so much to give, but you need to be open and to be able to trust and to receive. And yeah.
That's a wonderful thing indeed. So Ravit, I mean, there are many beautiful places in the world. You picked one of the best, in my opinion, obviously. So, but why did you choose to live in Koh Phangan?
Well, I think like many people here, Koh Phangan chose me. I used to come here a lot, you know, during my travels. And after I met my partner, we were here. And we were here with the children. We even came here when we didn't want to come here. We went to Thailand, and suddenly the tsunami happened, and we found ourselves here in Koh Phangan again. So I've been 6-7 times in Koh Phangan, and then we decided to come here for 3 months. So we came for 3 months, and we understood that 3 months is not enough. So we went back, put everything in boxes, and came back for 1 year. And since then, it has been 5 years that we're here, and we're still here. I don't know when.
Let's see what happens next.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next. I think that this island has her own, you know, her own vision about who needs to be here, when they need to go, as we all know.
Indeed, indeed. And of course, Ravit, you are doing a constellation every week, and you also need people that are part of it, not in the center, but part of it.
Yes, representation.
Yes, so if
people
people
to
are
represent.
interested, maybe to see what Family Constellation actually is, the best way possibly is to start as being part.
Yeah, or a workshop, but I don't have something that I'm offering today. Or just to add themselves to a group of people that are coming to represent for other people in their sessions.
That's what I did as well. And also I know you're doing training as we speak. I mean, you're currently doing a training, 5 weeks, is it?
It's 5 weeks training.
Very nice. So lots of things happening here. And so if you are interested in psychology, in personal development, you want to learn about yourself, learn about your family patterns, and just having quite a wonderful experience, actually, or something a bit different, I highly recommend the Family Constellation with Ravit. So, but thank you very much for being part of my channel today.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you.